Hello everyone! So since we are not going out shooting this morning, I decided to make a video for us. It's not our work, it's other people's work that have to do with what's going on today. So, well, I thought we'd start with a little humor. That's kind of how I feel when I've been going to the store. I've been wearing my gloves, throw them out as soon as I get everything out, wiping down everything with a disinfectant wipe. Been taking my precautions seriously. I hope you guys are too. But let's move on. So I started with my friend Micah's work, and Micah, you might remember, is who inspired our Up and Down Charleston project. And he just went out and started to make some images because they are off school as well, being in Ohio. So this is one of those images. It's very bleak. It's lonely. Of course, Ohio's weather tends to go that direction. So that was a benefit in this photograph as well. But look at the balance. It's a beautiful photograph. Here's another one of Micah's looking through a field to the empty playground. So it's showing us quite a bit of loneliness, emptiness, mood. And I want you to be thinking about that. How can you create that in your images? What are you thinking about doing for the next few weeks with your photography in our Las Vegas document class? Another friend, she's been photographing this hotel from her apartment window for years, and she's decided to do a 30-day series again. And here's today's shot. Or was that yesterday's shot? That was yesterday's shot. But as I go through the slideshow, take a look at the names. Everything's on Instagram. You can follow these artists as well. Right here in town, Klaus's work. He is a fantastic photographer documenting Las Vegas in color and in black and white. He has two accounts, one for the color and one for the black and white. And notice the title, The Big Las Vegas Lockdown, with that mural coming over. So remember, I'm always telling you guys about not just photographing the mural alone. This is a great example of that. We've got the other buildings. We know that it's right by the Golden Gate, the flag at the top, but it's very powerful. It's very much about the artist that made the mural. But he's made it his own. Another one of Klaus's work. That is so eerie and empty. Have you guys tried to go down there and make images? Just because we're not going as a class doesn't mean you can't go on your own. I would be cautious though. People are out of work. Things are a little bit more desperate. Don't make yourself a target. Go with someone, travel light, and be aware of your surroundings. I haven't seen anything happening, but you just don't know. A big camera is tempting. A throwback shot. I just thought that would be fun to add in. So I actually follow the El Cortez, and they do a lot of historical shots. There's even a historical Las Vegas page where you can see lots of vintage shots of Vegas, which is always interesting to look at, especially when you're studying documentary photography. How did they handle it then? So very nice photograph here. Okay, now we're really, smack you in the face. Wash your hands. And please don't be a racist. Well, darn right. And this is embroidered. It's not a written sign. So giving us that information, especially on Instagram, is important because we flip so quickly. 1 or 2 seconds is how long people look at a photograph, unless it really stops them and holds them for some reason. But this is very obvious. Smacks you in the face what it is. This one's a little bit more subtle. But it's so perfect for today. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to stay in. And here is the stay in. So if you start to think about things like this in relationship to your photography, what's in Vegas that you could do, that you could make an image like this? And of course, the time of day. We've got that blue light. It's just illuminating, and it's just absolutely gorgeous color. Everything is in its place. Todd Heido, one of my all-time favorite photographers. If you don't know his work, you should definitely look him up. He has this series looking at homes at night, and so the interior lights of the home are on, and they just kind of glow. They're absolutely beautiful. But I thought this was a pretty interesting photograph for today, blocking everyone out. And once again, look at the color, look at the lighting. If you're working from home, think about how you can make it look moody, how you can bring in a feeling of whatever it is you're trying to express. This does that. Photographs are being made all over the world right now because this is a pandemic. It is worldwide. Beautiful little photograph. This is a shot from 1977, but it's a documentary of home. And you might not be screaming pandemic, pandemic, but you might be screaming, oh my gosh, I'm stuck at home with my family. So make the best of it. Can you make photographs? Do you notice no one is looking at the camera? They're living their lives and stories are being told. And it's important to know the timeline. Living our daily lives. Another friend went out on a hike and they found this skull in the woods on his hike. It's a beautiful photograph, that very shallow depth of field to pop out that little skull. Absolutely incredible. How did he make this image? He was being observant in his surroundings. He was looking. So something to think about. Slow down, look. So much of the time we don't look around us. We just are heading in the direction of where we're going. So look. Now is a great time to slow down and think. Think and look. I just like the empty loneliness of this. I thought it was a perfect shot for today. Same with this. We don't get a lot of misty fog here in Nevada, but who knows what you can create. A simple still life, a piece of fruit. Look at the lighting. It's not just a piece of fruit, it's a mood, it's a creation. It was intentional. Everything is in this image for a reason. Use your eye to create your images. Don't just snap. Think. Think about the elements. Think about telling the story. This photographer is out of New Mexico, and he's been photographing gang life and getting out of gang life and these tattooed people. Pretty powerful work, and he is like blowing up all over the country, getting in tons of shows, winning tons of awards. And it's something that you could do, I mean, if you were interested in that, but it's something that can be done that started a long time ago, but this idea of from people to still lifes that represent the person or the situation, it's just something I just wanted to throw in there for you guys to think about. You might want to follow him a little bit and read some of the articles. Isolated and lonely. Very simple. Keeps me looking. This had more to do with a global warming conference than what's going on today, but the same ideas. Very simple, smack you in the face, obvious photograph. But when you put them all together, they have punch. I only have two here. This looks like a Todd Hido image. But could you do that here in Vegas? Yes, you can. You know, you got to throw in a little humor as we're going through all of this stuff. I love the overkill here. It's not a great photograph. I don't love the composition. But I love the exaggerated feel of everything going on here. So, pushing things. Time, of course, Time magazine is doing different covers. They had 6 different covers. But I love this shot, the older person in the hospital bed behind the window, and then probably a family member, a daughter outside. Because we're not supposed to mix over, you guys know this, we're not supposed to carry in the virus. You can have it for 5 days without having any symptoms. So you just don't know where you're spreading it. That's why this is so critical right now, to keep our social distancing intact. Pretty standard portraits, pretty beautiful. They tell the story of today. I didn't do all 6 covers for you. On a bus, notice the mask being worn by the person sitting. Notice the glove by the person holding onto the handrail. And the reflection. It's a complex photograph. Lots going on, lots to look at, lots to explore here. I love this photograph. Showing the total emptiness of what's happening. Our roads are still pretty darn busy here in Vegas. I did drive to my mom's yesterday at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Normally I'd be stuck in traffic. It would take me an hour plus to get there, and I got there in 30 minutes. So people are staying in. Businesses being closed up. At first, when I started to look at these photographs, I didn't like the reflection of the photographer in the images. But as I looked at them further, I found that, there she is again, I actually liked it because it was her imprint on what she was looking at and what's happening today. So in that respect, I think it's interesting. I'll just go back a couple of slides as well. The sign saying that we're closed. I can't read it, but you know that's what it says because of what's going on today. It'll always be marked by a date. See you on the other side. Look for signs like this. I did see a sign yesterday saying Vegas Stronger on one of the casinos as I drove past out in the burbs. Well, this might not have been, well, this is not because of today, because it is actually a closed up store, but it does show the loneliness of what's happening in the world. In that respect, I think it's really interesting. Brian Ulrich did a series of closed stores, and the work is absolutely fantastic. He's someone you might want to check out, and this might be one of his photographs. I don't think it is, though. But check out Brian Ulrich, U-L-R-I-C-H. Absolutely fantastic work. And he started that work after 9/11, when we were told to go shop. Then everyone shopped, and then he did a series on thrift stores where everyone was getting rid of stuff that they bought that they didn't need. And then as the economy crashed in 2008, he photographed empty malls, dead malls, and things like that. So he's really been aware of what's happening in the world and making images about that. So I'm quite curious to see how he's going to be working with creating images for the pandemic. And here we are told to stay home. All these businesses are getting closed if they're not essential. So it's really a contrast and a huge event in our history, but what a different approach to how we handle it than what happened after 9/11. Policemen patrol, and they're checking documents of people who are out. So they are ordered to stay home for 15 days. But what a beautiful photograph. Look at the composition on these. I made a few images out my windows the other day. I'm going to be using those in some composite work. I've been gathering a lot of graphs and things about what's happening. I just like the composition of this. This was actually an ad for a company that does design work. But I thought it crossed over to what we're thinking about. I love that foreground plant thing that's all out of focus, leading to the focus in the background. So I think it's very effective. I don't think it's a great photograph, but I think it's a great photograph in that it tells a story of today. I'm much more interested in this photograph. Made with flash. You can see the shadows. You can see the illumination on the face. No one's stopping and posing here, but they will in a minute. Very strong image. This is a throwback to the 80s, but I liked the lonely feel that's going on here. Larry Sultan, if you do not know his work, you should check it out. He passed away a number of years ago. I saw this work at, the Museum of Contemporary Art in LA, and it was absolutely stunningly beautiful. But I thought it was a good one to show you guys. The empty streets of Seattle. Just a hint of life there. Something we see a lot right now here in town. And then I threw in a few things just to get us thinking about books. Just a little flip book. When you're working on these, think in terms of zines. You might even want to start putting some stuff together. But I love the handwritten, "We'll meet again soon." This is not a book. It's a collage. But I love the energy of it. So we're so used to thinking of things as straight photographs. I just want to tell you, you don't have to. Go crazy. Well, don't go crazy. Go crazy with your art making. A great title on a book. Think about your title that you want for your book this semester. Some little zines by one of my favorite people to follow, Austin Kleon. I think I've told you about his books. Keep Going, Steal Like an Artist, and I'm drawing a blank on the third one. But they're all really fantastic. They're under, they're like $10 each. They're small, easy to read. But he does a weekly blog, or not a blog post. Well, he does weekly blog posts, but he sends out a weekly newsletter with 10 things he's thinking about or done during the week, which I really enjoy. And I, of course, follow him on Instagram. But check out these little zines. There's a lot of cut and paste going on here. You guys can print out on a Xerox printer at home or an inkjet printer at home and do some cutting and pasting to put these together. It doesn't have to be a professional looking book. It can be a piece of art, one of a kind. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't been doing coffee time with my friends, but something I've done since I moved here 15 years ago is I Skype and cocktail with my friends a lot. And I have to tell you, almost every day this week, I've been Skyping and cocktailing with people from New York and Ohio and California and Hawaii just to say hi and catch up. So, reach out to your friends if you haven't done that and, know what's happening in the world. Know what your friends are thinking. Lastly, here's one of my images that I've been working on. So there's one of the graphs that I found about pandemics. And I liked how it looked like a food pyramid here. So that's why I'm eating, and that's a self-portrait. Man, my neck looks lovely. But I'm going to make a zine of these images. So I've got my plan. I'm collecting. I'm starting to put things together. Let me know what you guys are working on. Communicate with me. Send me emails. Send me texts. We're in a different world. Text me. If I can't see you guys, I still want to know what's going on. I want to help you. I want to help guide you. And I'm really working on getting caught up on everything that we fell a little bit behind on, and then even fell further behind when we knew that we were going online. So I'm working on it. You guys keep working. This is still a class. We're still in session. You're going to still get a grade at the end of the semester. If you guys have any kind of problems, let me know what they are so I can try to help find a solution for you. And stay safe, wash your hands, keep your social distancing up, try not to worry, and happy snapping.